Today we are going to work with some of the equipment to try and demonstrate the principles we talked about this morning.
So
we've got 3 different activities to do. To begin with, we're going to let you make an electromagnet. All right. So you're going to make an electromagnet with batteries, a nail, and this wire. And you'll need a couple of these wires as well. So we're going to have you do it with 3 batteries. So come and get 1 set of 2 and 1 single. And you'll probably need some tape too. So each group come up and get 1 set of equipment. These not yet. Okay. So to begin with, you're going to take your nail. And we'll have a little clip here just to make it easy. Yeah, or they could just touch it to the battery. Either one. Yep.
This is how Jella Pajo Chigdi and the Karsimlana Tanda and the local Kayu Joasim and the dig sim, Pajo Nedishim Bajik sims.
So take your red wire and make many loops around the nail. Maybe 6 or 7 loops.
Chilola and the Korak Mama Yatu Nundala took doing the Yatu rest.
And then connect it to each side of 1 battery. So, and you want to give yourself a little bit more of slack or use a clip. So it's more in the middle of the red wire.
We're creating something here called a short circuit, which means we're going to get a lot of current because we have very little resistance. So it may get hot pretty quickly. So just pay attention to that. Don't have it connected all the time.
Because this will get hot, I would suggest using one of your wires to do the touching instead of your finger holding it on. So when you have both ends connected to your battery, see if your nail can pick up any paper clips. See if it's magnetic. Okay, now put the tip maybe over here.
Mare,
Connect. And then if you disconnect, yep. So the little magnet, you turn it off. Now, does it pick up anything here? But he's too heavy. Yeah, it's too heavy.
tar ya utu samar ya tu ya utu samar kinzo
I don't think we're going to be able to do it with few loops because it's hardly magnetic. We can try it.
Yeah. So one thing you can do to make your electromagnet even stronger is you should be able to, once you reach the end, bring the wire back to the start and wind in the same direction that you did before.
Gelazo
Do you need more wire?
marja shu cher ta ya khandes tang ores lavin bina dus kora gas hairo kora del gas hadu sama thandu ya ranja ki ya gon dus ma kora gap kora ninsa somza de ma cha cha yores
You have to wind in the same direction. If you wind in opposite direction, you cancel out.
cheza ya che ma che yo mardas
Better
dus
now?
de gyuri gas hairo ya ranja dine ya gyuri jay marda dus gyuri ya del les hairo khabdu ya khir and dine ma gyuri gap chamba so it's taking a lot of time to demagnetize.
Yeah.
Something that you can, yeah, so now it's done. So sometimes you can make these somewhat magnetized if you keep it next to a magnet for a while.
Just go and get during what you did, and go part there during a digress. Chad, the Koran and Narjaki, and Sintis, your chow songa, and Tizukalansan and Jadido.
So this magnet isn't very strong, but if I put it next to a different magnet for a while, I could actually use it to pick up other paper clips.
Jetan thing Narja shoot in Roma, the Dingarja Chimbu dinner during Bushashana, Koran Narja charge, Jella Chashimba Lentures. Okay, what's similar one?
Karma, one thing I'd like them to try is to hook up the electromagnet, put the nail by the compass, and see which way the compass moves. Then reverse the battery and see which way the compass moves.
Gelazo, Chala Tanda Ranja Sim Yachta. Narja Cha Tanda Lo Kablan Sega, the Kablan Chadero. Just a dicha to some Kablan gets a dig and Ramla, Karshas, Lavi, Menakirangi, Tanda Chokto Yoji the Shas. The Shave Kapsla, and Seragi Chola, and Su Yungi, the Chokto Yoji, Lonere, do Chanere, the Jews. That's how Jella and Yankirangi Tanda Lomedi, Gopsha loss. Tanji Yare do not Tanda Ma Gopsha loss. Gopsha lo and Yang Gonte to Zambala and Kirangi Serag Chola Donye and Nekaridu Yanki to us, Jodu Dum to Kasi the task. No, the Ateling door. I do you know Shashana, the Muling Changayosan, Chandu, Hoyosan, Rodu. In Damle in Zambala, the two do dog. Yana Shikorachi go jad, I pardon just so you.
Okay. You just got one new special piece of wire from me?
And
a yellow piece of paper from Kirsten? Okay. It's time to put the nails and the electromagnets aside and move on to the next activity. So what we're going to do is push down the white to show a little bit of the copper wire at the ends. And take your piece of paper and poke a hole in the middle of it. So your wire goes through the paper. Now what I'd like you to do is lay it on the between two tables so the wire goes down, and then push the tables to keep the wire from falling.
So make sure your tables are roughly even height.
그래서 안에 쪽제디 안에 배제인가 안에 도세 찍고 얘기를 제사 찍 야마 디체 도세 찍고 요 쇠다스 갈라 한삼 디세
So now you're going to take 2 wires and clip 1 wire to the part that's on top and 1 wire to the piece underneath.
제사 다 기나 근데 안에 로그 준다 이거 근데 니키 쇼스 니키는 찌 가르치스라나 강이야 된디니 기 단다 꾸버 그 상유사 주어 델라 투스 찌 거와툴라스라나 오는마 된디니 그 상 카주어와 디간 투스 온 근데니 찌 올을 요래 찌 강을 투찌 강디 강라 투
Good. Can you find it underneath?
디세 찌 올을 투야
Make sure that you're getting it clipped to the part that doesn't have the white cloth on it.
제사 오들은 통금인도 디간라 안 단다 디 로키사와 가르갑슬라 꾸바 요사 디간 가려 요마다스 상구 마란 튼디니 주어와 디간 파 안에 가르고다스
With this, we're going to do something similar to what you did yesterday using your compass, and we're going to try and map out the direction of the magnetic field around this wire.
제사 디 가상 가르치르슬라미나 나르자 지키 아니 탈라 아니 코기 아니 단다 촉도 요지 배주 제체 나르자기 라블 카블링 라와든조 아니 카와 두두 템바 디다 지버지냐 다 단다 디긴 쿠바디 나로 도딩이 카보디 팀비 로 카블링 라와디 카와 두두 디 카초 만조 세기다스 아니 네니 토야로
A few 6-volt batteries that we're passing around. If you get one of these, then give your batteries to a group that does not get these.
제사 다디 가르슬라빈바나
So you get
아니
4
메체디 올제 투기 교지레스 제사 디 상마 당금인도스 디 라니에 된조 딘데 여와 디 수키유로 치스 야
So either get a black box or 4 batteries.
찍도 제가
Yep.
시투시
And you can tape those together.
시지라 디 안에 단다 탭다 야부치는 자르스 냠도
Did you get one? No? I'll get one. We're adding switches so the wire doesn't get too hot.
제사 다디 로드 차오 로고 된조 차오
Yes, so it
요
won't
마체
get
그
so
체들라 안에 로고 디인다스 로고 메뉴 된조 기만 로고 지나 계란 교고 세 교고 빠래요 로고 디 로고 임바 디 고두야 마카게 모두야 같이 샤요
Straight up and down. Okay. So if your switch is open and there's no current flowing, your compass should not be affected. And then when you close the switch, you will notice the compass move. You can use this. Oh. This is maybe easier than that long wire. Oh, you've got clips there. Okay. You're good.
나 나고나시 날 그때 가왔던 것도 지다 꼬라간자 개체 길라조 나고 티임바
Then you don't
나디
need the
나제 마우데 가왔던 것도 아니 디 갑조데 티제 아니 예를 들어서 상모 티임바 어디나시 아니 쿠바 디기 로쿠 디기 예라 샤베 갑슬라 다 마우디 그때 가왔던 것도 어디 아니 따데 뜬시
So we got what, 30, 25 minutes? Is that working any better to see the iron filings or not really?
Not really. You just need a lot.
A lot of current?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not showing it. Okay. How's their drawing? Something over here? Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So we have the Earth's magnetic field too. Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about what you're seeing.
Okay, number into. Yeah, in the like you run to Tanji Karin, Tonyo, Dicola, and Kejakashi Shigins.
First, can you disconnect your battery or black box so that it doesn't go dead while we talk?
Just a dealer, some Tamungela, and the Lomela, and Lota Garcia, and some of our Korochis. Kejashi do some Shesavajella made the Zodio, the Somasharochis.
Okay, as you're drawing your orientation of the compass, you maybe notice your compass pointed to this corner of the room most of the time.
Chesa da danji ane danda chokdun yoji diki ane kacho tsoga yula du zamba shugala chokdun yoji kacho mancha di ane kangba diki sur dila ane tuende gyosh kiranso ni res. Yes.
Did that happen for
Roger tuende dues ko.
So what's up there? Why?
Kangba yosa dil khari res. Ah.
North Pole, yeah.
Oh, Zambulingi Chane said your das.
So you maybe noticed your compass would point that way with a little variation, but predominantly to that corner.
Just that go ane tuya di kabretis chowa de yonsir de ende kandamata mancha de ane dichol tune di res.
It's because the Earth's magnetic field is much bigger than the little wire is creating.
The Kachin race lavin bana, Kiranki Lokta, Tamu Chunjun, the Tunsha be Kabling Rawa Dida, Zambuling Kabling Rawa Dori, Zambuling Kabling Rawa Che Yungures, Shuche Yungures.
So you've got the Earth's magnetic field dominating the direction the compass is going, with the little variations coming from the wire.
Chazada, Pechewa di, any Kajo di Changushol, 20 year the Nibena, and this, and ko Takta Madewa, the Neon Sede. Takta Madewa, Jos, Chigwe, Jumzen Suchiris Lavin, but I can't look up how the Chisha Yoredas.
So a couple things we tried to do to make the effect bigger. We added not 3 batteries, but 4 batteries.
Chazada di come Tanda di any locution di Kablan Rawa, the Chamber Chedula, and Tapshi Kashi or Chikaris Lavin Bena, and made Shucher down your slow made Shucher down your
So we increased the voltage to try and increase the current.
Chazada de la to Sambala, will say the Kajalana, will say Cherdana, and Logun you had the Mount Dur was this in the rest.
So I also gave you a different kind of wire.
And
that wire was supposed to increase the current when you kept the voltage the same. Do you think that new wire I gave you, the clear silver one, had a higher or lower resistance than the white original cloth?
Lota dida ane jela tesha wadini doru imbena ane gokshuk di sulu chung yosares. Chung de sulu yosares. The silver one.
The silver one had a lower resistance?
Lower resistance, yeah.
Yes, because lower resistance makes the current go up, and a stronger current makes more magnetic field.
Yeah, last was lota di ane jewo jagoya di pajo di nanglo la ane logyu maan droya che tu indas. Logyu maan droa la ane wese rangja dede oro andila zambala ane gokshu chung tangu yores gokshu chung tangna logjun cher do logjun cher do na kablan rawa cher do res.
But still, it wasn't enough to really make the magnetic field comparable to the size of the Earth.
Tandoya ane ngazo ki kablan ki rawa de zambuling ki kablan ki rawa da dor thobya chi so thup somwes lana tu masons.
So if you looked at your compass, you saw that it's sort of pointing in the same direction the whole time. You can understand that by thinking about the direction the Earth's field points, which is constant, and how we think the wire field should point, which should be go around the wire. And if you add those arrows together, you can get the pattern that you actually probably saw on your compass.
Just that de la do sambala zambuling ki ane changdi ko cho chig yor me cho jo dre yor weslan yor dre yor mar di mo sonza Zambuling ki ene changnil tuen ki tanda yochi ki dadi khadu imbe na mau di chola khacho di tuen di dus tuen di gogi ores yina ya ane kirang ki ene tanda zambuling khablen rawa mewi imbe na lokta di tumbe ki khablen rawa di ki ene dadi kirang lokta di dam dus chi go yin gogi ores dus gyur gogi ores cheza da kirang ngos ene tanda ki chodun yochi kan tobya di khar thob gires labi imbe na zambuling ki ene tanda khacho tuen kan da de da khablen rawa ki tanda kiram lokun tawo di khablen rawa tumbe ki ane da dini ni ki ane kimadla ta chik phaten chik sutena di kimadle ro di ane kirang ki mus thoya de dini res.
The bar magnets had a much stronger field yesterday, so we were able to almost ignore the magnetic field of the Earth.
Kasa imbe na ngazo ngarja tanda ane narmu de pheju che imbas ngarja narmu di tumbe khablen rawa di chimbu shiuj yo sonza ane zambuling ki khablen ki rawa di ki ane dil no shiras che thung min dos.
So now I'd like to switch talking about moving charges making magnetic fields and begin talking about the force that a moving charge experiences when it's in a magnetic field.
Cheza da di jela nganzo juji de khawa dugi slavim bena ane tan dingo nganzo ane kur ro dingi di ki ane khable rawa tuye ki keja she orwas cheza da khable rawa chi ki nanglo la ane kur ji yobim bena ane kho ki ane kho nyoya ki ane shuk di gol keja shi indas.
So before lunch we were talking about a moving charge in a magnetic field would experience a force.
Tanji nganzo ningun khala ki ngol kharshe yores slavim bena khablen rawa chi ki nanglo la ane ro dingi ki kur ji yobim bena logdu ji yobim bena podu ji yobim bena ane kho ki shuk ji tsor ki res la yores.
At the very end we showed you that a wire with a current was just a whole bunch of moving charges in one direction, and that also experienced a force when the wire moved up and down.
Cheza tigana shin thogal amodel ngazu khartyo yores lavi bena lokta ji jula ane kur den lok yundang yudu sambala kur mangbo shush du yores den ro den ki ane lokta di khablen ki rawa nanglo la ki yungdu sambala lokta den zo phazo ten ru doas kur ki shuk churgu doas temud galte emba.
So now what we're going to talk about is a practical example or a practical use of this idea that when you have a current in a wire that's in a magnetic field and that force that it feels.
Cheza da dende ki ane khablen ki rawa nanglo la ane kur ro dingi chik ane yewe kapsla kur di ki shuk yungres larwa ta di ki nyong dia ki shuk di ane ngazu ki namgi pheju khartangi yore sia di ane pech tungi is.
That example is an electric motor.
Cheza ji khares labim bana ane tanda lo dunchi ki motor sia di chag yores.
And we've got one of these. Do you want to hook this? I'll show them this if you want to hook that up to a battery. So this is an electric motor.
Ta lo ta peche di motor la sambala guje la ne thi gyore cheza di ta dinde ro yores tevim bena.
Inside here is a magnet, the gray discs.
Di nanglo tevim bena chera nanglo la ngarja yores te nakbosh doas cheza di ngarja redas di koko nanglo la lusha gyodi.
And we've got a coil of wire that we're going to connect to a battery, and that's going to make a current travel through that coil of wire.
Cheza da di jela ngaso chala dinde yores chala di ki ta sangmal kharyo sha yores labim bena sangu yo sha yores di ngaso khwan thu yores labim bena lo yongsa chi thu re lo yongsa thu be chen chi chi lo ku de nanglo la lo dur das.
And what happens is the charge in this wire makes a magnetic field, and that's going to be either attracted or repelled from the different sides of the magnet in the outer shell.
Cheza da lokta dig nanglo la lo jun tun be ki jumzen le tene ko ki khable rawa ji tung gres ta khable rawa di ane ko nanglo sha yundu sambala di kona nanglo thangbu yin khayo re ngarja jero cheza da di ki ane ngarja di ting da wo cha ni sha do cheza di chi ki ane chola ten rugre chi chola ane bugya da yin gres ane bure da ten re chi gres.
So I've got a picture of this on a slide.
Cheza da di ki ane remote sha wo ji ten yes.
Maybe. There we are. Okay. So if we just imagine one loop of wire here and the magnet on either side.
진짜 디 짜망고도 상구망고도 이나다 상구 찍도 치면은 안에 되네 줘레스 되네 망고 짜셔요 안탈라 안는 알자니도.
So if our magnetic field points from the North Pole to the South Pole, and our current goes in the direction of the blue arrow.
진짜 디 카레슬라빈베나 만주 카블랭키 라와 디키 아니 슈디 아니 장내네 선을 루여빈베나 루여빈베나 대가나시 아니 롱람 디기 낭로 콜람 디기 낭로라 아니 로도스 카조디 드네 차데요레스 드네 야도디 야요레 마요디 마요레스.
Okay, so I've got my current going this direction. A practice from what we did this morning. What's the direction of the force on this segment of wire?
진짜 다 디기 촐라스 로균디 야두 요르다스 데스 상구 디기 촐라 로균 야두 요와 손자 로균 디기 낭로 요베 코든존 용양 그 슈기 카조데 과요레스 다나 슈기 템바스.
So we use our right hand. Thumb goes in the direction the charges move. Fingers in the direction of the magnetic field. And the force comes out of the palm of your hand.
진짜 다 딜라두 잠발라 디 kho샤오레 델 샤오라 콤보 디 카조르 샤오로 진짜 드가나시 누구든지 kho샤오레 아니 로슈 카블랭기 라웨기 카조르 샤오로 아니 딘데 차소 진짜 다 딘데 차위미나 아니 디 용야기 슈디 kho여다 딘마 주 나노 주디여라.
Then we look at this side of the loop over here where the charges are moving down.
As
the charges move down, we use our right hand again, putting the thumb in the direction the charges move, fingers in the direction of the field, and the force comes out this way. So what happens is this side has a force pulling out, and this side has a force pulling it back, and it causes it to rotate. It's like if Karma holds his arms out and Kirsten pulls this way and I push this way, he rotates. Okay, but what happens, this thing wants to be here and it wants to rotate, and when it's in this direction, then there would be no force. Because you could also think about this, well, yeah, I don't know if I want to go with this in the North Pole. It's going to rotate around, and the way that this is set up, if you look at, it's 2 half rings. Well, no, this is 3, actually. It's going to change direction of the current.
Yeah, the switching is in the other.
So it goes this way, and then it goes this way. The current reverses direction. So it keeps it rotating in a continuous circle.
You can actually make a simple motor out of a loop of wire like this, and some batteries, and some magnets.
Well, she's getting this hooked up for just a minute. This is the simple loop. This is actually what we were looking at, the physical motor.
manzo ke thoya dela ngus thoya dela ane dendish thungres sabda.
The most important thing that's happening if we think about energy, you're changing electrical energy into mechanical energy.
Chesa da namgyu nganzo ane nuba da dende keja shidu zambala nganzo peche wa de ane lok nuba de gugyu ke nube ku ngol pa jurgu yordas.
So you can use electricity to make something turn.
Dik kaps la kira ane lok peju cheche ane ngobu khaya ro chi gugyu taya da ane dende chetu res.
This is a really good example of a practical use of an electric motor making something turn.
Chesa ane dik pe ngone chik deres lok nuba peju cheche ane ngobu chik dus gugyu taya yugyo sugure soya yugyo suguyo res.
So what we do is we have this coil rotating, like in this picture.
Par denal yo na hi ane nganzo de sangu de kora gai dos.
Take the rotating coil and make that rotate the drill.
Chesa da sangu di kora gai gyumsem tene kora di ke kharchi bres lavi bena de ta nganzo tanda di thuya dro deal sig ro yung de da sa thuya de di cha de kora kya yures.
What other things do you know of that you make use of electric motors?
Chesa dende ane log tanda kora korea dende loje dende guke dende ane peju chesa shimba khoa yor kyunso khara hagu yus khoa yosares. Fan?
A fan, perfect. Perfect. You're making something rotate around.
Electric tea makers.
Electric tea makers.
Tea makers. It's like
Don't they
blender.
just-
It's like a blender.
Oh, they have a blender. Oh, yeah, okay.
Reres kora ge dos dinanglo chi kora ge dinis duna yor sta didi. Motor cars.
Huh?
Cars?
Cars that use electricity, not gasoline.
Chesa ane ko moda imbe ina moda lo ki moda ina digyores. Petrol lusa dinzo ina digmartas ya.
So this is the example, the one that wasn't taken apart.
Chesa da dinde ane morang ki piece shipshi susha do.
Tie a little
Dinde
thread
mai
and you
ba
could see
ane
it
ching te
rotating.
bimbe na sobda dinde jores tse to khuju ta de do.
So we've got it hooked up to a battery, and this right here is spinning very fast.
Chesa da gela morang di ane longmel gari undu zamba di cha de ane guju gyobo shiwish tang dos.
Well, so another thing is you can make motors move things in a straight line. All you have to do is tie something to here, and then that thing will move in a straight line. So you wrap rope around this, and then you can pull something up or pull something inside.
Chesa da dinde kora kor dinyi chi gala chala dinde ta chi ya the ine re ma the ine pha the ine ten tu res ko dus kora kor chi thakpa do du ro.
It's like lowering a bucket in a well if you turn the handle.
Kiran so diha gu us te thomba na lo chulenda. Chumba chulenda de gala ane kora kor sa isa chi thakpa ta an ma the malu an dinde chi the ngor was thakpa ya do indu sambala chud ya gala le yung dos.
Questions that you have about today's activities?
Ringi lagdar chigo da dewa yuwe ke tiwa US. So can we make a drill by using things that we have?
Yes, but the little things that we have don't have as much power because that uses 220 volts and we only have 6 with our batteries.
Res so tu da satiye so tu res imbe na shuk chimbo dene so tu tanda pe tuya de la nganzu ol ningel has peju chigi was nganzu ke logme dinzu khare nga da tu toshu de tu re do tanda.
So, yes, you can make a drill. It would not be very powerful.
You can do the spinning thing.
So tu res imbe na shuk chimbo sira so tu mares. Jesa imbe na ko lega chigi yo da kora gya yo de so tu res.
Yeah, it wouldn't make a hole.
Ina peche zibu tu do mares. Zibu tu yo ngi pe do. Na. Na. Ya kajis.
난다 룽감게 나는 아직 다단다 아니 룽 매빅 사줘라 다단 개봤다로 근데 저도 콜로들라 로 가르바들라 네 장내 당론에서 제바시도 전에 들라는다 로 낭싱 포도 뭐 전으로 다 포디 로라는 포디 숙체식도 네 장내당 헌내라 네 숙체 정도는 기바 여러 배.
So when we talk about tanda lungkham da lung mesa nanglo chewa yorla da lo khable shoot so when we talk about the vacuum space and the space where there is air, the way the magnetism works, is there any difference in these two different media?
No.
Medium? Oh. And the second part of that question is that in electricity, when we talk about the positive and negative charges, we can talk about we can say that like the positive charges or the protons are stronger than the negative charges. When we talk about in magnetism, we talk about these poles, two poles, north and south poles. Can we talk about the stronger north pole versus weaker south pole, that kind of thing?
Okay, first question. No, there is no difference between a vacuum, like in space, and with air.
There is, but it's very small.
There's virtually no difference.
Chisa da lungkham lung yosa da tongsang ki nangla khablen ki lega chidang di thong thobe ki chewa dinde ane yo mares ta chewa yo mare la shane digi yores wojuza khablen ki nuba lega chidang khablen ki rawa dodan di ane lung yosi ki ane khuryu ki nanglo la tongsang ki nanglo le lega chidang ni phala chewa yo mare la shane digi yores chisa ina da gelang khurani la la ane be de hiu ship sago chimbe be na ane chewa thamu dinde ane yo chores.
And the second question about the positive charge being stronger than the negative, that's not correct because the positive and negative are exactly the same strength.
Chesa da tiwaniwa di ane kur chechung ki kecha sheyaji yorwas. Chesa dilla tu sambala shichi gangle ane kur pomoni yena kur po de shuk cheya da mo de shuk chunga dinde yomardas. Po da mo de ni shuk chechung chikpa chikyan redas.
And the North Pole and the South Pole would have the same strength
Chesa tiga na shi ane tanda de
on one magnet.
ngarja chik gangle yimbe na ngarja ki lone da changne dini ni di kadu yimbe na ya che da chung sheya yomardas.
Now, the proton and electron have different masses. The proton is much more massive than the electron, but they have the same charge, just equal and opposite charge.
Pechashana pudu da logdu ni ki tangaji yorwa lokurji yorwa pudu jigo chimbu shu yores logdu di jigo che yomares imbe ina ya koni kur keja she yundu zambala ani kur jibo ji kya das chik pore chik mor das.
But the force on each would be the same. If this is negative and I'm positive, I pull on him as strong as he pulls on me.
Cheza ane chik podu chi chik modu ina ane jigo loga imbe na doze loga imbe na poda modini chik pa tingo re chik so tingo chawa cheya yorwa ina konini shuk chejung yoro mardi chanyam deores poda mogi podu da modu da logdu ni khare tunji mingi namra nedang manda da kurgi keje she yundu zambala ko mola yore ina ko lok nuba kinye imbe gyumzen tene logdu se de tani guru yorwa.
Thank you. We will leave the motor set up here if you want to come look at it on your way out. And if you want a closer look at the wire moving up and down that I showed you right before lunch, you can come look at that on your way out also.
Tanda dos ma thendro du zambala pela yewe ki tanda ngaso modu de swesha doa di guju daya di yakbo seo thungdu mendon de tagalen tagi ma thendro na digres tiga na shi ane ngarja grawe nanglo taji loku de tangdu zambala pha so doya di lonye de bas ningu khala kunela di ane del seo thwe mewe imbena ane dig dam la kira ane tagalen digres di maina ande ne ma khale thendro na digres soje phasing res